History of the Lamborghini and Ferrari rivalry. There are rivalries in every industry. We are all familiar with the common ones, such as Marvel vs. DC, Coke vs. Pepsi, McDonald's vs. Burger King, Apple vs. Samsung, and many more. However, there is one more instance that is rarely brought up. It has a history that goes back more than 60 years and involves two of the most prestigious brands in the world. We're referring to the rivalry between Ferrari and Lamborghini. In the history of supercars, these two automakers have competed to build the most luxurious and high-tech vehicles the world has ever seen by designing the most amazing supercars. But how did the rivalry begin? In today's video, we will take you through the history of this rivalry that still exists till today. Before we begin, please make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the post notification bell. Let's start this story with Enzo Ferrari. You've probably heard of him before now. Enzo was born in Modena, Italy in 1898 and received little to no formal education. He served in the Italian army during World War I and dreamed of becoming a successful race car driver. After being released from the Italian military and working for a short time as a mechanic, he finally realized his dream by joining Alfa Romeo's racing division in 1920. From then on, he participated in numerous races across Italy. But over time, he became passionate about the management and development side of the garage and assembled his own group of world-class drivers within the Alfa Romeo team, which he named Scuderia Ferrari. Over the next 2 decades, Enzo participated in racing only occasionally and devoted the majority of his time to creating cars for the Alfa Romeo team. However, in 1939, he left the group and struck out on his own, following a public argument with Alfa's managing director, Ugo Gabeto. He was prevented from designing or racing cars for 4 years by a non-compete clause in his contract with Alfa Romeo. Nevertheless, Enzo decided to wait it out, and in 1947, he made the official decision to begin producing sports cars under the now famous Ferrari name. But at first, he concentrated only on racing instead of going mainstream. In 1948, the Ferrari team made its debut in the competition and built a competitive vehicle right away. In 1949, they got their first significant win at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. In 1941, at Silverstone, they took home their first Formula One Grand Prix victory, and in 1952, the Italian brand won its first Formula One World Championship. However, since competing is expensive, Enzo began selling sports cars to raise money for the team, and the brand's popularity skyrocketed through the 1950s. Every Italian businessman with some spare cash wanted one of Enzo Ferrari's masterpieces, as the Ferrari brand came to be associated with luxury and high-end performance. Here's where Ferruccio Lamborghini enters the picture. Did you know the Lamborghini company started out as a tractor company? Now you do. Despite coming from a family of grape farmers, Ferruccio Lamborghini had a deep passion for engineering and mechanics. After serving in the Air Force during World War II, the young businessman became aware of a lack of agricultural equipment for farmers. So as soon as he started turning military vehicles into tractors and selling them under the Lamborghini Trattori brand, his business took off. His first production tractor, made entirely in-house, aside from the engine, was created in 1951. The business continued to prosper and expand from there, and in 1956, it opened a new tractor factory. Of course, Ferruccio's bank account balance increased along with the sales of Lamborghini tractors. So his money, coupled with his passion for powerful engines and beautiful cars, led him to buy a number of luxury vehicles, including Ferraris. He would take important clients for drives in the expensive cars and was occasionally known to burn the clutch, which meant multiple trips to the Ferrari factory to replace the parts. After growing frustrated, Ferruccio asked his tractor mechanic to investigate the persistent weak clutch issues. And this was when they found out that the clutch in the Ferrari was the exact component Ferruccio used in his tractors. So Ferruccio swapped out the Ferrari clutch for one from his tractor business, and also made the decision to visit the Ferrari factory and give the company's founder, Enzo Ferrari, a report on his findings. This was the visit that would spark the legendary Lamborghini-Ferrari feud. According to legend, an animated conversation between the two was the real inspiration behind the creation of his sports car line. After all, it is well known that both of them had some serious tempers during their lives. So here's how it went. It is the year 1963. Ferruccio Lamborghini, dissatisfied with his Ferrari, drives to the nearby village of Maranello and knocks on Enzo Ferrari's door. The clutch failure was explained by Mr. Lamborghini, who also suggested some straightforward actions Mr. Ferrari could take to significantly extend the clutch's lifespan. But Enzo Ferrari found it extremely difficult to take constructive criticism, so he rejected Ferruccio's proposal without even listening to it, saying the now famous words, "Let me make cars, you stick to making tractors." According to other accounts, Enzo allegedly insisted Ferruccio wasn't a good driver and that he ought to learn how to shift a Ferrari before criticizing them. Whatever transpired on that particular day, one thing was certain: the meeting between the two businessmen didn't go well. A few insults were thrown back and forth, and a rivalry was born. Ferruccio took the car home and was furious. He had received the worst kind of rejection for his ideas as opposed to positive reception. He felt terrible about the insult, which was especially painful given that he was also an engineer whose tractors were the best in Italy. He made the crucial decision to start his own sports car company on the way home, and it would produce vehicles that would outperform Enzo Ferrari's in terms of speed and quality. Lamborghini, as we know it today, was born right then and there. It wasn't an empty promise when Ferruccio Lamborghini decided to build a car to compete with Ferrari. Automobile Lamborghini was established in 1963, and a sleek new factory was built in Sant'Agata Bolognese. The work began right away. The first car model, the Lamborghini 350 GT, was released in just 4 months and was unveiled at the Turin Motor Show in 1964. But even though Enzo Ferrari and Ferruccio Lamborghini never spoke after that fateful encounter, the rivalry was far from over. In fact, it was only the beginning. According to rumors, Lamborghini personally chose a few of Ferrari's most talented engineers to join him. How else could Lamborghini have completed the construction of a car in only 4 months? Here's the story. Something significant occurred in Maranello 2 years prior, something that would be absolutely necessary for Ferruccio Lamborghini's success. There were 5 men who entered Enzo Ferrari's Maranello office, and among them were the legendary development manager Giotto Bizzarini and chief engineer Carlo Chidi. They wanted Laura Ferrari, Enzo's wife, to stop meddling in the manufacturing process because they didn't like the fact that she was making crucial decisions on the factory floor. Instead of correcting his wife's behavior, Enzo Ferrari immediately fired all 5 important figures out of rage. These 5 immediately launched a rival company in Bologna called ATS, a design studio for racing and sports cars. The 5 key individuals who had previously worked for Ferrari were then hired by Lamborghini and were able to construct a vehicle for Lamborghini very quickly. Now back to the main story. The first car, the 350 GT, was well received, with 13 consumers buying it right away. A total of 120 cars will be produced over the following 2 years. Even though these vehicles are now priceless, the 350 GT started out slowly and cautiously, but Ferrari was unconcerned. However, a new Turin car show was expected in 1965. Things were about to change dramatically as the car that would completely upend the world of sports cars, including Ferrari, arrived. This was the car that would truly make Lamborghini a household name. The car was groundbreaking. The engineers had placed the engine behind the driver as a nod to F1, making it the first production car with an engine in the center. The Lamborghini Miura was its name, and it was an instant hit. Following that terrible meeting, Mr. Ferruccio at last had the vehicle he wanted to use to challenge Enzo Ferrari, and the rest, as they say, is history. Nevertheless, both companies have experienced enormous success and are still in business more than 60 years later. And this infamous rivalry continues to this day. As for you, who do you think is the king of the road? Please let us know in the comments. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Bye! See you next time.